Welcome back to the Broad Street Benchwarmers podcast. My name is Adam Dan. Guess what? I have Ethan Oviditis and Michael Cormula
Oh my God.
here with me. It is a beautiful day here. We're all in different places, but just wonderful to see. Happens very rarely, but we're here for a special event. It is Super Bowl week. Finally, after all we've been waiting for, you heard our preseason predictions. You heard our midseason thoughts. You heard who we thought should be drafted. And now we are here at the culmination of the 2024-25 season. How are we feeling, gents?
Good.
We're happy. We both of us were correct about the Eagles. You were not. But
I had them winning 12 games.
You did?
Oh.
I had them like 11.
You had 11.
No, you're right. I had them winning 11 games. They won the division.
Yeah,
Okay?
they won the division.
I said
But,
14. Look at me.
yeah, they were like the best case scenario. Like I think we didn't do awards in the prediction video, but I said Saquon Offensive Player of the Year, and she's obviously gonna get that. So
Yeah.
even I, the man who, again, I love bringing this up. This has been my new get out of jail free card if I have any bad takes. Cooper DeJean, I never thought he'd be that good. Same thing with, actually, we had Quinion going earlier, so we were right about him, but I didn't imagine Nolan Smith would be transformed from a
Useless.
we have to draft edge to we're good, don't worry about it. So, and Zach Bond, obviously, because when he signed him, we're like, okay, we got a linebacker, that's cool, he's a body, and now he's gonna get like 15 mil a year.
More than that.
Yeah, no complaints really at all, other than Jahan Dotson not getting as much volume as the trade sort of warranted, but that's like,
He scored a touchdown in the postseason, so
yeah, it's fine.
How do you feel, Adam?
I feel incredible. And I mean, this has been two football teams that have gotten here in vastly different ways. One was, a preseason favorite that has had its falters, but has just steadily climbed, and the other, a team that has really dominated, I mean, after week 4 all the way through. And so I think that makes this incredibly intriguing, by all means. So we want to start on the Philadelphia side. We want to start on the Kansas City side.
I guess start with what we know. Yeah.
The Eagles are very good. Jalen Hurts is
awesome.
awesome.
Correct. This is a true statement. Yeah.
AJ Brown is awesome. I can't think of a flaw on your roster right now, except for the fact that Jalen Carter might not play.
No, he
He'll be limited.
his illness it wasn't. Let's be real, it wasn't. He was out on Bourbon Street. I can almost guarantee that. But
yeah, I mean, you guys have had guys. I mean, there's been guys that have stepped up and made big plays. Oren Burks, Cooper DeJean, like guys you wouldn't expect to be massive postseason contributors coming to fill for injuries, especially with Nakobe Dean going down, who had a great second half of the year. It's been great to see guys like Oren Burks step up. I mean, all of a sudden becoming a starter in the NFC Championship and playing really well. In my opinion, I thought he played very well against a really good Commanders offense. So, I mean, you guys did clicking on all cylinders. I mean, it's kind of hard to look at them and be like, oh, well, how could they not win? But we'll get into why in a little bit.
yeah. All right. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. We don't have much to say because I mean we kind of just said it. But
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I just think. I think. Okay, this is an apology. An apology goes out to Howie Roseman because for the first year plus of the podcast, our outro was well, thanks for watching and fire Howie Roseman.
Yeah.
And okay, in all fairness, it was looking really grim in like 2021, which was when we were doing that. But the way he's been able to replace these vets like Fletcher Cox and the the ghost of James Bradbury with good players. I mean, obviously exceptional players with Jalen Carter and the combination of DeJean and Quignon, and Miles Sanders got a bag. We're like, okay, well, we'll get DeAndre Swift, and okay, we'll get Saquon Barkley. And now we're in the Super Bowl. And
it's not like DeAndre Swift was bad.
Yeah, he was good. He was good that season.
Upgrade position, yeah.
But for a guy who we always clowned on for his drafting, 2022 was a little tricky because that was the Jordan Davis. Jordan Davis has been good, but in hindsight, if we could have had Kyle Hamilton, but I'm gonna say the butterfly effect thing that we wouldn't be pitching we are right now without making those moves. But
that AJ Brown guy.
Yeah, because 2021 was Devontae, Landon, Milton Williams, all very quality starters.
Yep.
Milton Williams probably going to get a bag to go to like the Jaguars or something lame, unfortunately. But he's been really good. I know Landon's been beat up, but he's a workhorse. He's an absolute monster, and
contributing to the best O-line.
Devontae's role has been sort of. I mean, it's pretty much every pass catcher has had their role diminished, considering we have the best offensive player probably going into this game. But
the best offensive line. So.
Yes. Okay. Actually, I'm glad you said that because it takes me I'm not trying to do like the Giants a favor, but he wasn't going to rush for 2,000 yards behind Josh Suzudu and John Michael Schmitz. Like, come on. But obviously it was a perfect situation for Saquon. I think it's worked out perfectly, and as long as he stays in rhythm, obviously, I mean, it's sort of like it's going to be a dogfight between Chris Jones and Landon Dickerson and Karlaftis and Mailata, but
Karlaftis and Mailata, come on, man.
Yeah, we have. Yeah, it's a bet. I don't care about the. I mean, KC's tactics are bad, but I don't think anything's getting in the way of Saquon. And I mean, eventually Jalen Hurts, because Kellen Moore has been dialing up the design runs, which I've had no issue with. So.
And they've looked good. I mean, I thought last week was the best Jalen's looked as an actual runner since 2022.
Yeah.
This is something we didn't see at all in 2023 and mostly at all this year in 2024. So to see him finally move and run without looking like he was just making skipping downtown and then sliding after 3 yards when a defender comes within 5 yards of him. So
so unless we have any other comments about the offense, I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
I mean, I think offensively, this is a juggernaut. It really is.
Yeah.
I think what this really comes down to me is one, the health of the offensive line, because you think about this past week, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, and the injuries that they're dealing with. Exactly. It's just, they play well at the second half of that Commanders game, but we're going to get into the Kansas City Chiefs defense, but it is a very different story in schematically what they're going to throw at you. That the Dan Quinn defenses of yesteryear and of today are exactly the same. You are getting the same exact looks over and over and over again. Yeah. Steve Spagnuolo is the guy who's going to throw an unblocked rusher at you at any point. And it really is preparing for the unexpected. So it's why I think this is actually a really big Grant Calcaterra game, a big Dallas
CJ Uzomah, Bengals legend.
I mean, he's active. I'll say that.
Will Shipley in the backfield. Come on.
He was activated off the practice squad this week.
So is he gonna take the backup role now, or is it still going to be Kenny G?
I mean,
who, Shipley?
Yeah.
Kenny G is in concussion protocol, so we still don't know.
We don't know if he's going to play. Oh, that's right.
We don't know if he's going to play.
That's why he was in the game. Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot.
Yeah, respectfully, he wasn't going to be.
Yeah.
Who's
but
your running back right now?
Will Shipley.
If Kenny doesn't play,
Tyrion Davis Price.
Holy shit.
go. You guys are fine.
LSU legend.
Yeah.
The year after Clyde. Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, yeah, I think for the Eagles offensively, you have to give credit to this line and what they've done so far this season. But, I mean, with those little shifts, it is definitely a question against the Spagnuolo defense. And then I'm looking for them to get Dallas Goedert involved in the tight end run game. I love that they did that in that Commanders game. I think that's really something we're going to see a lot of against this Kansas City Chiefs defense. This defense that has struggled a lot against guarding tight ends in any kind of way. Nick Bolton having a real down season in coverage. I don't think it's been talked about enough. And especially in the nickel with guys like Shinari Connor and Jalen Watson, those are guys who have struggled against bigger, stronger targets. So I think that's going to be a strength for them. What I think is not going to be a strength is the big plays, the chunk plays, and getting the ball outside of the numbers. Trent McDuffie is one of the best press corners in the NFL. I think, the matchup with A.J. Brown is going to be really tough for them. This is a Devontae Smith game. This is a Dallas Goedert game. That's how they're going to win in the pass game in my eyes. But again, the efficiency in the run game, maybe that doesn't matter. We just saw, Mike, your Houston Texans, who were able to really attack them on the interior of that defense just because they have to move Chris Jones out the edge so much because they simply don't have the pressure inside. Yeah, exactly.
High with Joe Mixon, 6 yards, 7 yards every play.
Yeah, exactly. So if they're able to chunk with Saquon Barkley in that way, then I think that's an easy formula. But I do expect them to be prepared with a lot of different styles defensively in order to try to at least prevent that and force this Philadelphia Eagles team into a lot of more difficult zone coverages where Jalen Hurts is having to make more difficult decisions on those RPO style plays than they did against the Texans because, you have 2 weeks to prepare. That's what this is about. Steve Spagnuolo has shown time and time again that when he has 2 weeks to prepare, he's going to be the smartest guy on the field. And so that's definitely a concern of mine. Absolutely. So.
Yeah, going back to that Kellen Moore thing too. Like Ethan was saying, Kellen Moore's been doing a great job, getting Jalen going in the run game. Mm-hmm. I also think the last couple of weeks we've seen some of the best football that Dallas Goedert's played in a while. Yeah. He's really able to. And I feel like all 3 games. I'm not exactly sure against the Rams, but I know he had a couple big catches against Washington, and of course he had that big touchdown. It was against. Was that your?
Yeah,
that was Green Bay.
That was Green Bay. But he had one against the Rams as well.
Did he have a touchdown? I thought so. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought so. He's had a great playoff run, so I would really be shocked if Kellen Moore wasn't really trying to get him, 7-8%. Trying to, 7-8 receptions, have near 100 yards. Just against the Kansas City Chiefs team that's been terrible. As you said, terrible, trying to guard tight ends.
Yeah.
Cal Santera, he's gonna, and then they're gonna shift their focus to Dallas Goedert, and then you got another quality tight end there, or that's when you get Saquon going in the pass game too, because then they're going to stop focusing on that. That's the great thing about all the weapons you guys have. It's a shout out to Kellen Moore too. And people say, it's really easy to scheme and do well when you have this great offense with all these weapons. But I point you to Exhibit A of Brian Johnson, and Exhibit B of Bobby Slowick. So you still have to be a good coordinator even when you have all these great weapons around you.
Yeah,
so it's I feel he deserves that head coaching job that he's going to get in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll get there.
I feel we have to give a lot of credit to Jalen Hurts. I had a lot of questions going into that Washington game. You said it first; it's the best I think we've seen him play in 2 years, and I had a lot of questions about his ability to handle the blitz because I think a lot of times within that game. We are seeing a lot of the kind of unblocked pressures with zone coverage underneath or, those kind of disguised coverages in which he was having to make difficult decisions with the football and carry himself in a certain way. And he stepped up to the challenge with everything that's thrown against him. Now, he did that against Marshawn Lattimore and, Benjamin St. Just. Now, show me you can do it against Trent McDuffie and this Kansas City Chiefs secondary. That's going to be the big question. And I'm not sure I have the answer. I think a year ago, I would have said no. I think what I've seen recently, I'm going to say I would lean yes. So we'll find out. But do you want to talk about two different quarterbacks? Yeah. You want to talk about the Chiefs defense a little bit?
I feel like we've pretty much did it all.
Okay. I mean, I think Jalen hasn't been particularly great against the blitz, but against Spags, it's exactly what you're going to get. So it's going to have to be a Saquon game. I'm sorry. As much as I've been impressed with Jalen in this run, you have to count on the guy who can evade 4 tacklers at a time.
And what Buffalo did in 12 personnel was brutal.
And if not that, then just quick pass game with Dallas Goedert and A.J. Brown, very easy.
Yeah. So that's an easy
Chiefs offense.
Formula. Yeah, well, I was going to say that's an easy formula to shift to an offense which has been incredible, largely because of their short passing game. And that's the Kansas City Chiefs offense. They are, as everybody on Super Bowl week will hammer home into your head, they are not the Chiefs offense of old. They are who they've been for the past 3 years, which is why I'm annoyed that we constantly keep having to hear this over and over and over again. And that is an offense which is able to utilize the screen game, able to utilize the run game, able to utilize the short passing game, and get the third down. And they have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, the two best playmakers, I would argue, in today's NFL. So I think it's going to present a significant challenge for this Eagles defense in being able to attain that and to stop that, especially with, the third down Mahomes running wrinkle has become its own, crisis. And I'm not going to get Michael started on the penalties and stuff because that's not the piece of the conversation I want to point to. But how productive they've been with Mahomes as a scrambler, I think, has to be a key focus for an Eagles defense which struggled heavily against Jaden Daniels as a scrambler just a week ago. I don't think that was highlighted enough. So what are our thoughts on the Chiefs offense going into this one?
They're going to find ways to win.
They're not going to.
The minute they traded Tyreek Hill, found ways to win without the big play.
Yeah.
Explosive play, not big play. They make big plays.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That's
all
just
they do.
Gonna have to.
They have great interior O-line.
Yeah.
Good one.
That's going to be really difficult because when you say, we have Jalen Carter, we have Jordan Davis, we have Milton Williams, it's like, well, they have Trey Smith, Joe Tooney, and Creed Humphrey.
Well, remember though, Tooney at left tackle.
Yes,
Mike
the edge. It's pretty much flipped with the Lane and Jordan and Felix Njoku-Uzomah and Karl Loftus because Jawan Taylor is gonna get his lunch money taken by Jones.
He put on his ass a couple times.
Yeah,
he's bad.
And I don't feel confident in saying this, but Bryce Huff can be disruptive. Emphasis on can, not will. I would prefer to see Jay Luxon. I would prefer to see Jay Luxon. He has more of that. He wants it more. He's got more pop off the edge.
Well,
and Josh Sweat
Brandon Graham playing this game.
Yeah, and Brandon Graham, who is it's probably his last game. So
it is scary.
He
might play exclusively on third down, but
yeah, sure, why not?
So it happens when you look up from a terrible leg injury 10 weeks ahead of schedule.
No, it's I think for this Chiefs offense, I think a lot of people are talking about just kind of the impact of their ability to get away with this short passing game and the run game. I don't think it's been emphasized enough. The run game has not been good this year.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco has been benched for Kareem Hunt,
For
essentially.
Kareem Hunt, yes.
They're not able to really move the football in that way. It really is exclusively their ability to be as successful as they have been on third down. And I also look at the success a guy like Zach Ertz had against.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say
a week ago. Yeah, it's Travis Kelce's ability to find space in the zones, I think, could be incredibly helpful, especially because it was mainly due to the Eagles simply having to stay in zone for as long as they had to against that Washington Commanders defense. It wasn't necessarily that the Eagles defense was playing badly by any means. It was simply that Zach Ertz was just able to find space because they were able to hold up for so long.
Yeah.
So
and
a lot of
like
it is going to come
the best
down
guy in his position to do that. So I mean, ever and right now. Yep. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, obviously love Zach Bond. Really hope he comes back, but it is giving me TJ Edwards flashbacks.
No, I don't think.
No. Yeah, I know he's a better player, but just the intermediate, like middle of the field throws, or it's either in the hashes or right at the sideline. Just that's where Travis Kelce's going to make his money. So, and it's gonna be against Zach Bond or Oren Burks. So
probably Oren Burks.
Yeah.
Pains me to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and that worked amazingly last year. So with the Niners.
I know.
So
I know. We can start talking about the Eagles defense with that. I mean, I think the matchup with this unit, which has been the best defense against short passing games in football and screens. I mean, they are allowing a 29% success rate on screens and passes at the line of scrimmage. That's unheard of. And pair that with the Kansas City matchup, it's an incredible matchup, especially with how this young secondary is playing, being able to pass off zones and a Vic Fangio defense in year one, how they have. You guys pointed to Nolan Smith and this defensive line, the ability to step up. I love this matchup on paper. It just, again,
it's just
comes down to the same things.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like.
Well, I mean, I loved every matchup that Kansas City. I loved the Texans on paper against them. I like the Bills on paper against them.
Better. Yeah, we're not gonna go conspiracy.
Game played on paper.
Yeah, but what I will say is I do feel like the pedigree of Andy Reid as a play caller and Spagnuolo defensively is just kind of, so it's gonna show its head a few times. Especially, I mean, if I had a nickel for every time my dad freaked out when Jalen was under pressure, I would be in a penthouse apartment right now. So it's gonna have to be quick throws to Dallas, maybe quick throws out the backfield to Saquon. But I mean, outside of McDuffie, I feel like the secondaries, it's good. I like Jaden Hicks; he's cool. Texans legend Justin Reed hasn't been amazing, but
I mean, for me,
it just comes down to I think it's sort of like a myth, but the championship experience is really because, I mean, a lot of the team is carried over, obviously, because it was two years ago.
Yeah.
The defensive line's been completely revamped. Linebacking core, obviously. Secondary, obviously. I mean, running back, it's obviously a wash, but
yeah.
I mean, for me,
it's just because this is their fifth appearance with Mahomes?
Straight, yeah.
Not that straight, no.
Because the
Bengals.
Yeah. The only guy to beat Joe Burrow in the playoffs that's still in the NFL.
All right. Well, yeah. So, as we said, it's pretty advantageous on paper to be well, look at them. They have Juju Smith-Schuster playing meaningful snaps. Kareem Hunt is their RB1. I wish it could be that easy, but it's not.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what I was gonna go
Yeah,
into.
that's exactly how, like, they as much as we're always like, hey, get the. I mean, I would mock them like a Marion Hampton, but like it's always like you gotta beef up these skill position units. But sort of like a Green Bay thing historically, where they're just like they get it done. So
Yeah, they just find people.
yeah,
Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams, now Jay.
Well, after that, like,
Yeah,
I mean, I know you love him, but nobody was going in this year being like, yes, Jaden Reed is our receiver one on a playoff team.
yeah, but like kind of what you were saying was what I get into with how I feel about how both teams have to win this game. I feel like for the Chiefs, it's going to come down to a lot of what it was, and 23 and 22, it's going to be like under the radar guys making big plays, kind of like cover your ears. Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore catching touchdown passes in 22, or
On the exact same play design that they fell for both
Cole
times.
Hardman winning the Super Bowl, like having the walk-off touchdown in the Super Bowl last year. It's going to have to be Juju Smith-Schuster and Justin Watson stepping up on a third down and making a big play. And same for the Eagles. It's going to have to be very similar to 2017, where Corey Clement had 100 receiving yards and Nelson Aguilar had 84 yards. You need that kind of production. You're going to need something like that out of Jahan Dotson and combination of whoever plays Will Shipley or Kenneth Gainwell. You need big plays from the guys you don't expect the big plays from.
Yeah,
that's what it's gonna come down to.
If
the story of the Super Bowl for both teams. And I mean, if you want to even go back to 2020 for Kansas City, what doesn't get talked about much is how good Damian Williams was in that game. But you don't hear from him.
I thought he was going to win MVP. Like he was awesome.
Damian Williams had multiple touchdowns that game.
In the Jays, that was beautiful. Before it was like a thing.
Yeah, so now it's like that's how I feel both teams have to get it done.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Eagles shouldn't stray too far away from how they've gotten here.
Absolutely.
I do think a mix of, the backup running backs and Jahan Dotson would work because outside of McDuffie, I feel like the secondary gets pretty not amazing past that, which, I mean, I know why you said it's Devontae Smith game, but until it's like if it ain't broke, don't fix it with Saquon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
at least as long as the line is intact, I have no real. I mean, yeah. The two issues would be if a lineman, God forbid, goes down, and two, if Jalen just cannot handle the Spagnuolo exotic blitzes. Like that's it. Because
I think
I have no issues with Saquon. I have no issues with the pass catchers, but yeah.
I think defensively it comes down to sticking with that formula as well. As we just discussed, the Eagles' strength is not just short passes. It's on not sending additional rushers. It's on staying within the formula of exactly who they are on the back end defensively. They don't try to disguise incredibly often. It's little wrinkles on the exact same kind of Vic Fangio sets that they continue to run over and over with that 3-4. And so I expect to just see more of that. I don't want them to get away from who they are because they're worried about putting additional pressure on Mahomes as a scrambler, because Mahomes has shown throughout the entirety of these playoffs, throughout the entirety of his career, that the teams that tried to mix it up on him, I think about like your Houston Texans defensively in that second half, are the teams that often find themselves getting beat by him and getting beat by kind of the little wrinkles of this offense and their ability to kind of play backyard football almost in a sense in those moments that are more clutch and that matter more. So I think this is a veteran staff, especially Fangio. I'm looking for them to stay the same way they have. And then from a Kansas City counterpoint, I mean, I'm looking for them to attack it in different ways, simply because they haven't really shown that versatility over the entirety of the year. And there's always a new Andy Reid wrinkle. I understand that, but I think you have the weapons to do so. There's a guy in Hollywood Brown who's sitting right there who I think has had a spectacular, almost under the radar postseason, despite the production you're actually seeing on the paper. I think he's a fast, physical receiver who's not my favorite receiver in the world, but I think if you get the ball in his hands in space, especially over, maybe what is a older, less athletic in his falling stages of his career, Darius Slay, who looked to be attacked by Terry McLaurin, by Washington at multiple points in that game. I love him. I think he's still a great corner. I think that's a matchup that I'm looking for. I think Kansas City is going to try to attack that in their own way, simply because, again, love Slay, but the 4.4 speed isn't exactly there at this point in his career. So yeah. Are we ready to pick this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The neutral. Not neutral because this is the last time I'm bringing it up because I was trying to limit the Texans call outs. He's like, in the Texans game. Oh, in Texas. I'm like, oh, calm down.
I'll go last.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Uh-huh. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
I'll go first. Okay. There's a lot of factors in here for me, and I've kind of discussed a lot of them already. I do think that this Eagles offense is going to be able to put up, a productive day. I think it's not going to come in the form of explosiveness that it did against that Washington Commanders team, but I think they're going to put together long, successful drives against this Chiefs defense, simply because I think in the trenches they have the ability to do so. I don't think they're going to create explosive plays, but I think they're going to create, as you said, good plays. The issue with that is that I think this Kansas City Chiefs team on third down is simply going to have the answers. When we talk about teams that are able to withstand these long 10-minute drives and battle back, I think there's a good chance that this Chiefs team is simply able to suck the life out of this Eagles defense in a way that we haven't seen from it since week 13, simply with Mahomes' ability to create for himself in that way. I would love to pick the Philadelphia Eagles in this football game. 2 years ago, walked in here, I said, this is the most talented roster in football. I got to take them. I got to do it. I walked in here in the podcast studio a week ago, and I said, this Buffalo Bills team, they are the most well-rounded team to ever play the Chiefs. Every single advantage that they could have is theirs. They're going to dominate with their offensive line. They have the outside run game. They have, the defense to match. And guess what? At the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes on third down in the fourth quarter got it done. And Steve Spagnuolo, with all that little time left in their last gasp, he sends the corner on the corner blitz. The corner blitz. When was the last time you saw a corner blitz on fourth down in the NFL in a championship game? And they win that football game. So it's in Mahomes, it's in Reed, it's in Spagnuolo. Kills me to do it. Kansas City Chiefs, 27. Philadelphia Eagles, 23.
All right. Well, that is the principal's objective answer. And in many ways, I agree with it. I think, especially with it's not script, but the format of how Vic Fangio operates his defense. It like at third down, like that's kind of, it's like barbecue chicken kind of for Mahomes and company. So it's gonna, it really is gonna come down to how Jalen is acknowledging and counteracting the blitzes from KC, because even though we said like the defensive line outside of Chris Jones, like Matt, like that's not the issue. It's because they just have these ridiculous like designs, and although we have the best line in football, that's something I'm concerned about. But at the same time, we have. I mean, I'm going into exactly what you said. Like that's the best roster in football. But when you have the hottest, like production wise, hottest football player in the league right now, it's like one.
Maybe the other thing too.
Yeah, maybe that too. I don't know, whatever. But and alongside that, a top 3 at least, maybe probably the best receiver duo in the league, and a very quality tight end. Like, as much as I respect the KC defense for how it's been able to just squeeze out wins, especially with like I know going to this the preseason we're like, oh my god, L'Jarius Sneed, what are we gonna do? Oh my god, L'Jarius Sneed, and then they won 15 games and they're 60 minutes away from a three-peat, the first time that's ever happened. But yeah, I'm just, it's like razor thin. It is definitely closer than it was in 2022. I mean, that defensive line was like on another level that year for the Eagles, but I really think Saquon's like he obviously is the ultimate X factor. So with that being said, Eagles 31, Chiefs 23. Yeah. But like if you couldn't, yes, this is the Eagles show. Like this has been an Eagles show for 5 years. Get over it.
All right, Michael.
And also, I picked the Lions in the preseason to come out of the NFC, so I don't want to hear bias, whatever.
Bring the drama, Michael Cornwall.
Kansas City wins football. I've said this.
Yeah. They just find a way. They find a way.
I've been saying this all year. When people who say they're not that good, they just get lucky. They don't get lucky. There's no luck in the sport.
Yeah.
Well, okay, there's like 5% luck in the sport that happens occasionally, like the double doink. But
hey, leave the double doink alone.
That was
a good football team.
And that wasn't a shot. That wasn't a shot at anybody. That was just the first example.
The Super Bowl. It was in Alshon Jeffrey's hands.
It was over.
And then it went to was it Marshawn Lattimore, right?
Yeah, that was luck. Right there. That was luck.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, and they do it in a multitude of different ways, whether it's controversial or not, whether it's Mahomes on third down, whether it's they're underrated guys making big plays at big moments, maybe when it's just blatantly rigged, or whatever you want to say, or when it's the devil rituals under the stadium. It's the magic of Taylor Swift.
Oh, yeah, it's the voodoo magic of New Orleans. Yeah.
Whether it's Taylor Swift or Donna Kelsey or Ice Spice, Caitlin Clark last week, they win games no matter what. They're a damn good football team. I'm going to tell you right now, Patrick Mahomes is going to be the greatest quarterback of all time. He's going to be the GOAT. He does things that Brady couldn't. In a respectful way, Tom Brady will always be a close second if Mahomes jumps the hill.
Yeah, it's like it's a Jordan LeBron thing right now. Like he is on that trajectory. And also LeBron's the GOAT, but that's besides the point. Anyways,
I don't care about any of it. Just guess it again. I did it in the divisional round and I did it in the AFC Championship. I'm picking against them. You're like the top 10 quarterback in football. One of the best rushing seasons we've seen since
Eric Dickerson in
Taylor,
the 80s. Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor, top 3 receiver in football, the best number 2 in football, a quality tight end, a quality backup tight end, the greatest. It has to be one of the greatest O-lines ever assembled. A good D-line, a beautiful, beautiful backup linebacker named Oren Burks, who's amazing. The magic of the devil magic of Will Shipley and Dabo Sweeney affecting the game in ways that you didn't think he could. Big play Slay, all of it. This is exactly what Adam said he wasn't going to do. This is the most talented roster in the NFL. This is the team I picked to come out of the NFC, and you guys both called me slurs Can you guys tell?
Well, it's because you picked the Bengals. It wasn't because you picked the Eagles.
You have the best second best defensive coordinator in the NFL. You have a really good, damn good offensive coordinator who's going to beat the Saints head coach probably, and you have a damn good head coach. And I don't care what you say because I defended him last year and I looked like an idiot, and now look at me. When he didn't get fired and the players rallied around him, and now look, you're in the Super Bowl. You're 60 minutes away from stopping literal Satan from a three-peat.
Yeah.
This game comes down to a Will Shipley touchdown. Will Shipley scores a touchdown.
Ainias Smith
scores a touchdown.
Yeah.
Philadelphia 28, Kansas City 21.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce will not be proposing after the game.
Actually, he will. He will just
that space, carry it.
It's not going to be. Yeah.
And I don't care. I'm done.
Yeah, it might have to be a Brady thing where he just like fizzles out against what is it, the Bucks? No, it goes against the Rams in 2021. It's like,
yeah.
Well, I guess that's it. Like he's.
I'm beyond stunned.
Now, yeah, the timeout. That's not. I will be not shocked, not surprised. Completely see it coming if Kansas City wins this game.
Yeah, of course.
In my opinion, they shouldn't even be in this game. A lot of interesting things went their way. I'm not going to go there. But two players from the same team hitting each other isn't roughing the passer. But if Patrick Mahomes wins this game with the terrible receiver core he has, with tackles who are like, the equivalent of the high school team down the street from me, bad running backs, this would be
really
the
bad running backs.
And we said this last year, if Mahomes can carry that team last year it would be very impressive. This would be one of the most impressive carry jobs of all time, and this would certainly look damn good on the Go resume.
Yeah.
Three-peating with the terrible offense he has around him outside of Travis Kelce, washed.
Wow. Let's leave room for the best center in football, and
Let's say he
have
2.5 great offensive linemen, because Trey Smith can be inconsistent at times.
Trey Smith.
This tackle sucks.
Trey Smith's going to make a lot of money this offseason.
Yeah. He'll have fun in Vegas. I know that.
The tackles are terrible. And when was the last time we had the conversation about the tackles for the Kansas City Chiefs being terrible or injured?
Joe Tooney's been good.
He's a guard.
Awesome.
He's a guard.
I know, but then
he's playing tackle, though.
Joe Tooney around, then you're going to have a massive hole on the right side.
Yes, and the most penalized tackle in the league on the other side.
And I understand that.
Well, the last time we had these questions about the Kansas City offensive line, the last time they lost a playoff game. No.
Yeah.
Was that against Tampa?
Tampa.
But and here's my thing. I would argue we had the same questions last year. I had the same questions last year, especially on the right side. And I think it was their ability to utilize the short passing game and the quick passing game, which makes it so effective. And that's where the matchup
that's what,
right?
Yeah,
and you guys are predicting that matchup to go the Eagles defense's way. I assume that's where that's going. But I don't I specifically don't think that part is what plays a factor.
I mean, I think it's going to be a big factor, especially if Brandon Graham is back on third downs against Jawan Taylor. I mean, yes, we talked about how Mahomes is going to be a great scrambler, but he gets sacked sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to have to double team Jalen Carter, leaving
Milton Williams,
Jawan Taylor on an island.
Yeah. With
Brandon Graham, Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, the Josh Sweat, all guys who are competent edge rushers, competent to good edge rushers.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be
I agree.
Disaster at some point.
We
talked about how amazing Steve Spagnuolo was, and yet I don't think Vic Fangio's name was mentioned once today.
No, I
think Ethan said his name once.
No, I said his name. I completely agree. I think this Eagles defense has an opportunity to do something the Bills defense simply could not find a way to do because of the loss of Trent McDuffie in that game. Right? Taron Johnson. And they're able to, have success in man coverage, really, shutting down this quick pass game against these receivers. It just, again, man, all comes down to the scramble drills for me. and I think that's going to make the difference. I think Kelsey in space is going to make a difference. But I'm so excited to watch this football game, dude, and I am beyond stunned that I am the only person to pick the defending champion game. I thought I was going to go on here and we were all three going to pick the Kansas City Chiefs. I legitimately thought that.
No.
But it makes me very happy to see the boys a little split. That's what makes this great. This is great. All right. Who are we firing?
I mean, well, we got out of the apron or whatever, so.
We're re-signing
Yeah. For my money, it's John Tortorella of the Philadelphia Flyers, but we don't talk about hockey here. So
Nico Harrison.
Who?
I mean, we
fired him last time.
Yeah, we fired him last time.
Fired him again subsequently for the Caleb Martin trade. So.
Yeah, I mean.
Lonzo Ball just got re-signed.
Yeah. Okay.
For how much?
2 years, 2 years, 20 mil.
That's fantastic. Fire LeVar. We tried to get him to do the intro, and it never happened.
Fire Jimmy Butler.
Actually send the money.
It's okay. We love you, LeVar. We'll give you a call.